risk is low.
So there is a risk. See, I knew it was a big deal.
Where people that aren't strapped in will then get thrown up against the roof of the aircraft, and this is where
That was a person? Oh, nah, that's. Oh, wait a minute. Why can I hear myself? I am back in it. Yo, how was everybody's Christmas? Happy New Year. Yeah, I was gone for a little while, innit? I ain't gonna lie. I wanted to continue even during the Christmas break, but I wasn't here. I was gone. I wanted to meet the family. It was all nice. And you know, until I was coming back. And once I came back, the plane decided to act up. Buddy, as you can see, I got a haircut. When I got a haircut right before, you know, I went to the airport. You know, at first, it was already getting a bit crazy in Nigeria, you know. There was a lot of crowd. It was pretty crowded. Then, all of a sudden, they told me I can't come with 2 bags on the plane. So I had my backpack and my like normal handbag, like luggage. They were like, nah, you can't bring 2. I'm like, excuse me? I've always been going with 2. They've never said anything about the 2. I'm like, yeah, well, we're sorry. Well, on this plane, you can't go with 2. See? Read the sign. I don't care about no damn sign. There's a bunch of people going in with bags. And like, yeah, they're women. They can go in. What happened to equality? They literally had a handbag that's double the size of my backpack. How is that anything to do with me, bro? And like, yeah, you gotta let them. You gotta put your bag inside your luggage. No, my luggage was already full. But I somehow managed a way and I got it in. Hey, luckily they still let me on board. Even though it was way past the weight limit. They were like, you know what? You tried. Go in. I was very happy. I was scared at first. I thought I wouldn't come back. But they let me. I just spilled some tea. Anyways, and then after waiting, we got to the plane. Now that was pretty smooth, and then the plane takes off, and I was like, okay, I was expecting some turbulence. No turbulence at all. I'm like, wait a minute, this was a really smooth takeoff. No wind, no turbulence, no nothing. We were just, I was enjoying it. You know, maybe a little turbulence, a little. I was like, okay, I mean, that's chill, that's normal. That's normal. 20 minutes into the plane ride while we were on the air, all of a sudden, the plane just starts shaking vigorously. I'm shaking like this, and then the seatbelt sign comes back on. I'm scared for my life. Then all of a sudden, it calms down. Then it continues. We were like that for a whole hour. I thought the plane was about to give up and just... You know what I mean? I was expecting that, but luckily, it slowed and calmed down. But that wasn't the end. You thought that was the end? No. It gets worse. Now, all of a sudden, I get a whole thing on my screen. There's a warning message talking about some turbulence action and saying everybody should please remain seated in case of an emergency. What? What did you just say to me? In case of an emergency? Ooh. I will jump out this plane right now. I swear to God, I'll jump out of the plane. Then the plane starts shaking again. Oh, the plane starts shaking again. Nah, buddy. Oh, hell nah. Get me off this plane right now. I was telling myself, if the plane is having some troubles with the wind or whatever is causing the turbulence, how about we just land in the nearest airport again and just wait it out? You know, I ain't trying to die. Then all of a sudden, the two stewardess, that's what the name is, isn't it? Or whatever, the people in the staff, they get a call from the thing. Both of them go and pick up the phone at the same exact time, and then they looked visibly, right after picking up the call, they looked visibly scared, like actually scared. Like they were like, I'm like, bro, what? I was expecting her to put the phone down and say, everybody, brace for impact. That's what I was expecting, but they didn't say that. Instead, they went back into, you know, sharing the food and all. But you could see it on their faces how they were a bit worried, okay? They were definitely a bit worried. I didn't ask. I was about to ask, are we gonna die? But I didn't want to, you know, cause alarm to anybody. So I was like, I'm gonna just sit down, grab my food. Hopefully, it's not my last meal. And, you know, let's just enjoy. I pull up some YouTube videos that I've downloaded to just get my mind off the whole situation, even though I'm in the situation. And then while I'm watching, the plane starts shaking like crazy. The plane even starts going like down. Like I feel like, you know, like when the plane goes down, you feel it in your stomach and stuff. Like it starts going down. I'm like, nah. What do you mean the plane is going down? It starts going down. It starts shaking. Buddy. For the next 2 hours, that was happening. Now I was, you know, when you're like really nervous that you slowly get sleepy out of the nervous. I don't know, when I get really nervous, I like somehow like I start getting a bit sleepy. So I would somehow like doze off, trying to calm myself down, and then get back because the plane would be shaking. That's how it was. It was literally just 2 hours of some turbulence action. I was expecting any moment for either one of the engines to go out, or the plane to just lose control, or the pilots to say anything, or the stewardess to say anything. Honestly, I think they should start implementing freaking, what's it called, parachutes in every single airplane, enough to accommodate everybody. I don't care if you don't know how to use a parachute, just watch a 2-minute tutorial real quick, use a parachute and jump out, bro. I mean, it's not that hard. It can never be that hard, okay? And you know, I was scared. I was actually scared. I'm not gonna lie. 2 hours, I was scared. The whole flight is 7 hours, and I'm looking at the time and I still have 5 hours to go. I'm like, bro, 5 more hours of this, I'm gonna pass out. I'm going to pass out. But luckily, after the 2 hours, everything calmed down, and it was smooth sailing from there. Now, I couldn't even eat my food no more. I ate a little bit. I had to give it back to them. They scared the living daylights out of me. Everybody started calming down. There were a few, like everybody was obviously shaken up because, you know, the turbulence action was too much. And I deadass thought it was going to be my last ride. I really thought, you know, and mid thing, I get a notification pop up on my phone. You know how like on the iPhone, it like pops up saying, oh yeah, you can connect to the internet and like text and stuff. I was thinking I'm gonna text my parents, say them thank you for everything, and just that's the last message, you know. But I didn't do that. I didn't have to do that. Thankfully, I'm here, so I survived. And honestly, the moment we landed, I was expecting everybody to clap. Nobody clapped. I don't know why nobody clapped. I mean, we almost died. It's all right. But yeah, that was the story of how I almost died. So we're gonna go ahead and watch some videos of some crazy plane experiences. That's what we're gonna watch because I just felt like watching that. All right before we do the crazy plane experiences, I just saw this. What airplane turbulence? What airplane turbulence is and why it's no big deal. We gotta see this.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete.
Why turbulence is no big deal?
It can feel like the scariest part of flying.
Dead ass.
But turbulence is no cause for alarm.
Are you sure? Because I almost died.
Turbulence is a sudden change in airflow. It can be caused by a number of factors.
Okay.
The most common cause is turbulent air in the atmosphere.
Okay.
Jet streams trigger sudden changes in wind speed that can rock the plane.
Okay. But would that like damage the
Another
plane?
type is thermal turbulence. It's created by hot, rising air.
Ah, we were in hot places. We were in
usually
hot
from
places.
cumulus clouds or thunderstorms.
Oh. Okay.
Mechanical turbulence is caused by the landscape.
Ah, okay, okay.
Mountains or tall buildings can distort the
okay.
wind flow in the sky above them.
How about we just go high enough so it doesn't cause us?
Airplanes can also create turbulence.
Why would you be behind another airplane?
The wings cause wake turbulence as it passes through the air.
Ah, okay, that's crazy.
This can affect planes flying behind one another.
Did the plane just crash?
Planes flying behind one another.
Buddy, I mean, that's literally what I thought was going to happen. Okay, how is this no big deal?
It's why planes avoid taking the same flight path on takeoffs and landings.
Ah, okay, okay.
Pilots and air traffic control do a lot to avoid turbulence.
Yeah. Hopefully, because...
But even when they do run into it, the risk is low.
So there is a risk. See? I knew it was a big deal.
Modern aircraft are built to withstand even severe turbulence. They can quickly rise and fall up to 100 feet. As a result, turbulence hasn't caused a plane crash in over 40 years.
Oh, damn. Okay. So I didn't even have to be worried.
Unfortunately, it has been on the rise. Since 1958, turbulence rose 40 to 90% over Europe and North America.
Will Cook chat. I'd never, nobody go on a plane ever again. I'm using a boat. I'm using a boat. I'd rather go down like the Titanic than to die in a plane crash, bro. What do you mean? Unfortunately, it rose 40 to 90%. I mean, I'm gonna die.
Studies suggest global warming could cause it to be worse by 2050.
My days, bro.
When booking seats, aim for ones closest to the wings.
Why?
These will be the smoothest in turbulence.
I was literally this plane. I was literally in the middle, like where the wing is, the middle of the wing, okay? And I still felt it. So I was scared. What happened? Oh.
For now, trust your pilot, be smart, and buckle up.
Trust a man I have never seen in my entire goddamn life. With my life? Okay. I think this video did not help me at all whatsoever. I mean, W video, you know, it really helped me understand what turbulence is. It's the wind change and all that. But he said there's a risk. There is a low risk, but there's still a risk. So I'm gonna go ahead and say whenever there's a turbulence, I'm scared. Okay? And that means I wasn't bugging for thinking I was gonna die, because that thing was crazy moving. Nah, bro. Nah. Man films inside cabin during man films inside cabin during emergency landing.
All the flight attendants are running around like crazy.
Whoa. Cathay Pacific Flight 884 was traveling from Hong Kong to Los Angeles when something went wrong. Oh, hell nah.
We are going to do an emergency landing, and it might be necessary for us to make an emergency DG.
And I just kind of naturally picked it up and just started recording it, and it seemed like a good way to keep myself distracted from what was actually happening.
We started to descend.
Buddy,
Flying from
what
LA, so I don't know what land
is going on, bro?
You hear the bass? Put your hands on the back, and the back.
Passengers were told to place the place might have to conduct a water landing. Bro, I've only heard these in the instruction manuals, bro. I didn't know they were real. I thought it was just a myth.
Of the flight that we could decide for this sort of action for us, and we are anticipating a normal landing. So I want to reiterate, it will be a normal landing.
I think it really
Let's
sank
go,
in,
bro.
Whilst it's happening, it was only kind of when I watched it back and I saw the moment of relief on my face, I realised that's actually pretty scary.
We're going to be landing in 10 minutes. And we're really dropping.
Oh my days, bro.
I don't know whether you can see it, but they're actually jettisoning the fuel to make us lighter.
Damn.
Down. We've landed. Yes.
Whoa.
Okay, so I'm not sure.
That was crazy, bro. I'm sorry. If I was in that situation, I would have died. Like, I would have just died. Doesn't even matter whether we landed or not. Like, I would have just died midair. When to worry in turbulence? So there's a time to worry?
Is turbulence in an airplane dangerous? The short answer is no, you don't need to worry. However, there is one main exception, and it's actually one that I experienced for the first time just the other day.
Oh, hell no. I
I'll explain
experienced it
all
too.
later on in this video.
I believe you, buddy. I experienced it too, bro.
A quick bit about me. I'm a pilot in the Royal Air Force.
He's a
I'm
pilot.
just coming to the end of my training, and on this channel I make videos about air crash investigations that I find quite interesting,
Okay.
covering both the larger crashes but also less well-known ones as well.
Okay.
And this is
Okay.
the first of potentially many kind of explain videos where I'll go into detail on any aviation related questions that you have. So what is turbulence then? So in very simple terms,
Yeah.
turbulence is the movement of disruptive air in which an aircraft is flying through.
Indeed,
Now,
indeed,
the
indeed.
severity of that turbulence will depend on both the mass of the aircraft, so how big
Okay.
it is, how much it weighs, and the speed or direction, or both, in which the airflow is changed in that
okay.
relative airflow that the aircraft
Okay.
is flying through. Now, there are several different types of turbulence. I'm not going to go into too much detail now, but if you do
Okay.
have any questions, just leave them in the comments below.
I bet. Buddy. Get off my screen.
So the first one, mechanical turbulence, is
Okay.
defined as airflow disruption over
By the-
obstructions. So
Yes,
for example,
yes.
buildings or hills.
Mm-hmm,
This usually
The
only
other guy
affects
told me that one.
aircraft at lower levels.
Yep.
I think a good way to imagine how this looks is if you look at water and the flow around, let's say, a rock that you put in a stream. You can see that
Yeah,
the water flow
okay.
behind the rock is all disrupted.
That
And
makes
that's very
sense.
similar to how turbulence works. The
Okay.
next one is mountain waves or orographic turbulence. And as it sounds, this relates to airflow around mountain ranges.
Okay.
Kind of
Okay.
similar to the mechanical turbulence with the disruption of air.
Just with
But added to
mountains.
this, because of the height of the mountains, it causes a lot of temperature changes and speed and pressure changes with the air, which
Indeed,
causes
indeed.
the turbulence to be much greater.
Indeed,
There's
indeed.
another one called wake turbulence. Now this is much more predictive because this is created by large aircraft flying through the air. So from the
okay.
wingtips of those aircraft, it creates something called vortices, which is basically large spirals of air which disrupt the airflow behind the aircraft.
I actually saw that on the wing. Like, I looked at the wing and I saw a stream of air going through the wind. It was super cool until the turbulence started. Then I got scared.
Now, air traffic control have become very good at dealing with this, and that's why you have delays between aircraft taking off, as it gives a chance for the airflow to stabilize behind those aircraft.
I
This is also true
see.
at higher levels. If you're flying beneath and behind another aircraft, you can then be subjected to its wake turbulence. But pilots now are quite good at identifying this and will just request a flight level change to jump out of that turbulence.
Hmm.
The next one is convective turbulence, which usually occurs around thunderstorms, and also includes thermals and downdrafts and that sort of thing.
Okay, okay.
Again, a little bit more predictable with thunderstorms, with weather reports and weather radars in the aircraft to avoid thunderstorms themselves.
Okay,
But also the
okay.
area surrounding thunderstorms still creates some of that turbulence.
Okay,
And the last
okay.
one is clear air turbulence. And I remember when I was younger, I was told that turbulence was created by clouds. And although there is some truth to this, it isn't always the case. And clear air turbulence is another form of turbulence that we have. As the name suggests, it can occur in clear air. There doesn't need to be any visible cloud.
Oh,
And one of the main areas that we get this is medium to high level, and it's where the jet streams are. Usually where two large air masses meet, it creates this big turbulent air pressure and
I see,
creates these jet
see.
streams that blow at sometimes hundreds of miles per hour.
Oh.
Now these are easily avoided. There are weather charts that predict where they're going to be, and sometimes they can be used to our advantage. So for example, there was a British Airways flight flying from New York to London. An aircraft regularly flying jet streams, but this one in particular was blowing at 260 miles per hour as a tailwind. This meant that as the aircraft was inside it, it was reaching speeds of 825 miles per hour. And this was used to its advantage to arrive 80 minutes early at Heathrow.
You know where I saw this happen? Remember the airplane movie from Disney? The planes? That right there where he goes for the first time above the clouds and like those clouds are like this and he like speeds off the moment he gets up there because the like this wind is so strong. That's what I think he's talking about.
In London. So also, not all turbulence is bad. But turbulence
Yeah.
is categorized into several different intensities.
Okay.
The first one being light, which as it suggests is a very light turbulence on the aircraft.
Okay.
The next one is moderate. Now this, along with light turbulence, will be the turbulence that you've probably felt in the past.
Yeah.
During moderate turbulence,
I've been pretty scared.
It is described as having difficulty walking in the aircraft, and also loose objects will be moving about. But the aircraft is always in control, and it's only up to a maximum of one.
Why is everybody yelling, bro? I promise you, bro. If people start yelling while I'm on the plane, it adds to the fear. I will knock somebody out. Why are you yelling, bro? Calm down.
G. The next level of intensity is severe. Now this is quite rare, but it does happen. This is described as being pushed violently against your seatbelts, and the
Oh.
aircraft is experiencing a greater than 1 G force. It can also cause the aircraft to become out of control for very short periods, and it can induce quite large speed changes. And it's usually in this sort of turbulence where people that aren't strapped in will then get thrown up against the roof of the aircraft, and this is where
That was a person?
it can induce
Hold on. We have to watch that at like
quite large speed changes.
Okay.
And it's usually in this sort
That's a person. This thing right here. This thing right here is a person.
of
And that thing right there is a person.
turbulence
You idiot. Wear your seatbelt.
where people that aren't
Hell no. What the hell is that?
strapped in will then get
Buddy kissed the ceiling. He kissed the
thrown
ceiling.
up against the
Said,
roof.
hello, how are you? I just wanted to give you a little peck while I'm here. And then literally dropped on the
of
ground.
the aircraft, and this is where most of the injuries come from that relate to turbulence. I will go through the injuries.
You have to be an absolute idiot to not wear your seatbelt. Why are you not wearing your seatbelt, bro? I mean, do you think the world revolves around you? Like, you think it's a joke?
Second. And the final intensity is extreme. Now this is only really relating to the centers of hurricanes or really extreme storms. This is something that a civilian aircraft would just not experience. I think the only people that do are those crazy pilots in America that fly their C-130 into the center of hurricanes to gain as much data as they can from those hurricanes. It's also worth noting that pilots have training to deal with severe turbulence, and they'll bring the aircraft's speed down a little bit to both increase its stall protection range from both a high and a low stall.
I don't know what that
and
means, but
increases
okay.
maneuvering speed as well.
Okay,
So as we
okay.
mentioned earlier, talking about
Wait,
injuries.
did he say storm or stall? Whatever.
In America alone, there's about 58 people per year that are injured through turbulence. And most of these
58 bozos, bro. Oh my days.
injuries,
Like, wear your seatbelt, bro. It says seatbelt. Please wear your seatbelt. I mean, it's not even that hard, bro. It doesn't take anything. You just check, boom, seatbelt put on. Like, I mean, is it that hard? Like, it ain't anything special, bro.
neck strain or whiplash, and it's usually when they're not strapped into their seats. So the advice I would always give, even if you're just sat in your seat for the duration of the flight, still have your seatbelt loosely fastened, as if the aircraft does hit some turbulence, it will just keep you nice and secure in your seats.
Exactly.
Now, most of those injuries actually occur to the cabin crew, as they are always most at risk, as they are very rarely strapped in when the aircraft does experience turbulence.
W staff, bro. Honestly, the flight crew, W flight crew, bro. Like, they literally, even in the plane that I was in, while it was happening, they were standing up and like they were like, their balance is crazy, bro. She like started like balancing on the thing, surfing, literally started plane surfing, bro. I've never seen that thing in my life, bro. She really hit the pose, bro. She really hit the pose, bro. I was like, bro, there's no way, bro. She's skilled.
Sometimes is people suggesting that turbulence can rip the wings off an aircraft. And
rip the wings?
This is practically an impossibility.
Wait, excuse me? Wait, what?
Turbulence can rip the wings off an aircraft, as they are very rarely strapped in when the aircraft does experience turbulence. Now, one thing I do see sometimes is people suggesting that turbulence can rip the wings off an aircraft. And this is practically an impossibility.
Oh, okay. Whew, thank God. Whew. I really thought he was about to tell me that that's very possible. Never got in a plane again if that was possible.
So all aircraft wings are stress tested before they're put into production and used. And we'll use this A350 wing as an example. And the wing actually traveled 5.2 meters in its bend test. And it was tested beyond any max forces that the aircraft may experience in its lifetime. And didn't come anywhere near to cracking.
Oh, damn.
So as long as you're strapped into your seat, you and the aircraft will remain safe in any turbulence.
So you really don't even have to worry that much if you're in a plane, bro. Even like all that crazy turbulence can't kill you.
That the aircraft is expected to go through. So coming on to the part that I mentioned at the start of the video, when is turbulence dangerous? Now there's a type of turbulence called wind shear.
Okay.
And this can be created by any of the previous types that we've discussed, but it's usually quite a violent, short-term version of one of those types. So the most dangerous time it can happen is when an aircraft is on approach or just after takeoff, as the aircraft is obviously lower to the ground. And how wind shear works is it's a violent change in wind direction or speed, and it will cause the aircraft to either lose or gain speed quite quickly, or lose lift quite quickly. And obviously, if you're close to the ground, you don't want to lose either of those things. But this is when it will be its most dangerous. When you're low to the ground, you get a severe wind shear and the aircraft loses lift. So then it starts to fall out of the sky without a means of gaining the lift to then pull it back up into the sky. Now, that being said, it is dangerous, but it also is extremely rare and also
extremely rare. That's what I like to hear. Like, my luck. I'm not even going to say that word because that's famous last words, bro.
Still recoverable, even if the aircraft experiences this. So I experienced this the other day. I was coming in for a flapless approach, which means that the speed you're flying down is a bit quicker than normal. And the wind at the time was variable. So this means that it didn't have a predictable direction it was coming from.
Okay.
It was basically swaying and moving around in multiple different directions.
Oh.
And as I was coming in, I was about 300 feet from the ground.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the airspeed dropped immediately about 15 knots, and I got a stall warning on the aircraft. This is obviously not a position you want to be in, but all pilots are trained to deal with this sort of situation. And for this one in particular, a standard stall recovery actually solved the issue and then went straight into a go-around, which means you climb away from the approach that you were doing and attempt it again, which I did and landed with no problem the second time. And this moves me on to my final point about turbulence, especially if you're a nervous flyer or nervous of turbulence. So aviation as a whole has become very good at dealing with turbulence.
Okay.
So pilots will always receive weather reports and forecasts for turbulence before they depart on any journey.
Okay.
Any commercial aircraft that you'll fly on will have a weather radar, and that will be able to detect if there are any thunderstorms in the area or hidden thunderstorms.
Oh,
in
so they
large
avoid
clouds.
that.
Now, when it comes to wind shear, which is extremely dangerous, airports have low-level wind shear alerting systems and also terminal Doppler weather radars. Now, both of these systems can predict and identify wind shear, and those warnings will be sent to pilots so they are aware before they arrive.
Oh,
Also, pilots
okay.
can report wind shear to other pilots and to air traffic control. And on modern aircraft, they all have predictive wind shear systems, which will warn the pilots if there is wind shear ahead and tell them to go around if they're about to fly through it. But ultimately, even if all of these systems fail, the pilot is still trained to deal with wind shear, and they will just simply carry out their wind shear recovery, which is just max thrust, pitch the nose up, and eventually the aircraft will climb away from the ground. So ultimately, turbulence is not dangerous. You shouldn't worry about it. Yes, it's very uncomfortable, but as long as you're strapped in, everything will be fine.
This is the type of video I needed. Now I can fly every single plane I want to fly and not be scared. I'm still a little bit scared, but hey, thank you, buddy. He just helped. He just cured my disease, my phobia, bro. This guy, literally, because he's a pilot, so he knows what he's talking about, you know? The other guy scared me a little bit more, but this guy, he did it, bro. Shout out Curious Pilot, bro. GG's, bro. I'm not gonna lie. That's about it for me, bro. Hey. Yeah, that's hey. That was it, bro. That was it. I think it's enough for today. It's enough. No more. Okay? No more. Hey, I'ma see you when I see you.